Hi everybody, it's what is today, Friday? Oh, Friday, just before the May 24th weekend, wow. And it's an exciting weekend for us. We actually get 3 days off. Anyway, so I guess everybody that hasn't worked for a long time wouldn't be too work. I told you, Colleen walk in the back door. And so anyway, we're working on today. I mentioned in this Man of War piece that these are, I'm showing the painting and it really does bother me. I'm not just saying that. It bothers me that when you see this big blob of brown silhouette of a horse, and you know, I kind of laughed yesterday because the reason I don't like to do it is because somebody's going to ask me some funny question about why is the big blob there. Well, good old Kelsey here yesterday said, "Hey Ron, is the horse going to have any more detail than that? Like, you know, talk about." She almost got a paintbrush thrown across the room at her. Anyway, no, but that's what it is. I don't like to show my paintings that are partially done because at times people guess wrong with what's going on. Anyway, so what I'm talking about today is this is our third day venturing into this painting. I'm going to work on the stalls today, and we're going to get this really kind of detailed out, and then I will probably be doing a little bit of work on the horse when you're not seeing it. Hopefully next week will be the final piece, and then we'll go into one more day after that, maybe just do a little finish up. I'll do the, I think that's right, we're third day, so fourth day is the main thing, is the horse. Okay, next time. But, and then the last day, again, I will just refine a little bit and then sign the painting. And in the meantime, we're going to be showing you all of the little goodies that we're doing and stuff like that. We're going to be talking a lot about RONSTOCK. I actually watched the last one, and I kind of, what I've been doing is trying to judge where I get boring. I don't know if I get boring or not, but I don't want it to be boring. I want it to make sure that you always have something to keep you interested in. You know, with Ron Suchiu and Suchiu Art here in the studio in Essex. Anyway, so we're going to be throwing a lot of the stuff your way about RONSTOCK. RONSTOCK's coming up, our virtual RONSTOCK this year. But in the meantime, I'm going to be working on this piece here. We're going to get this whole area in here, I think, done today. Again, please ignore the big brown blob of the horse. And I got it. Hey, there's that spider again.
You're right.
Oh, wow.
Man, this must be the springtime. Here, Kelsey.
I'll take it. I'll take
Okay.
it. I'll put him outside.
He's not,
He's
not a big one. Well, here, he's just a little guy.
Ow.
Oh,
There we go. I'll walk him out.
it's like, I feel like Little Miss Muffet. Anyway, I don't look like Little Miss Muffet.
Okay. He's out. Okay.
Wow, so yeah, this is what we do. We throw everybody off all the time. Hey, the one thing is, what's really weird about this whole thing is Kelsey and Colleen's voices are coming across better than mine, I think. And if that happens in here, just let us know, okay? Because we're always, somebody's always monitoring the chat side of this. I don't know why. I'm the closest to the camera, and I'm not speaking quietly, so I know you maybe have to turn up the volume a bit. I apologize. We've sent our equipment out. We're going to try supposedly getting a brand new piece coming back in. Hopefully it'll be by the next time. I don't know if it will or not, but and definitely hopefully it'll be by our RONSTOCK week, which is the 14th to the through the 18th, I believe, of June. And that's going to be our virtual RONSTOCK this year will be every day for 5 days. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to work on this a little bit. Anybody got anything to talk about, Colleen or Kelsey? Nah. Okay.
Yep.
Do you? Yeah. So
Say
Kelsey's.
hello to Barb Cannon and Linda Guess.
Oh. Wow. I haven't heard from Linda in a while.
Yeah.
Of course, I could be wrong. I mean, she might be showing up there every week, but I wouldn't know.
No. She's, yeah.
Hi, Linda. And who else?
Barb Cannon.
Oh, Barb. Yeah. Hannon, not the Hannons from Stewart Boulevard, eh? I don't know. born in a little country place, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, the great town of LaSalle. Actually, it wasn't LaSalle when we were younger, it was Sandwich West. We didn't live in a town until we got absorbed by the town of LaSalle. Anybody wondering, I was born and raised on Stewart Boulevard in LaSalle. So, what I'm doing here is, we're gonna do the gate, or the door, or gate or door. And I'm not gonna be fussy with it. To be overly fussy on this one, I don't, well, what we wanna see is, we wanna see barn board. And I don't know if this stable, cause I don't remember the stable to be any kind of a luxury stable. I was reading about this, and I do recall that there's no, like the modern stables right now are wide open above, a lot of them back then were, but this one was actually quite closed in as I recall. And it was a fairly common thing for back then to have these stalls that were, they looked warm and cozy to humans, but they didn't realize at the time that horses are herd animals. And the worst thing you can do with a horse is basically close them up into a little cozy room, because it's not cozy at all for them, it's just confining. Yeah, we got the phone ringing. Somebody's calling and say they can't hear me. No. Anyway. Kelsey, are we close enough in? I was gonna say, I'm gonna be working on this one spot for a bit. I don't know if we're close enough in to see that. Well, you're looking right there at the monitor, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you seeing where I'm working okay, or?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanna know. And I'm trying to keep my steady, this is my own invention. A steady stick, if you saw Norman Rockwell, is this, right? Or sometimes they put it on the canvas. I don't do that. I actually make these little inventions for myself, and my steady stick stays there by itself. But it's a pretty substantial piece, and it gets in the way.
Do you want me to get in close?
Well, if you wish, I think if you can, I'm gonna be working in this area for quite a while here. Might be a little less boring to see it like that, I don't know. And I'm actually gonna try and work on the opposite side. I don't usually work on this side of the stick, but I will. So people see that that's gonna be weird, because it's almost like I'm working left-handed. So what I was talking about earlier is if I went and did this really, really smooth, then it won't look very realistic. I need the edge of the wood to be sharp and smooth, but I don't need the inside. I think actually if I did it more like this, it'll give Kelsey the grain that she was looking for. Well, the wood grain. Yeah, so that's kind of a barn boardy wood grain happening there. Barn boardy.
I always loved your wood grain. I remember when you did Tecumseh Station, and you did and everybody loved the railroad tracks,
Oh, the ties.
the ties. Everybody always loved that. I just always loved the way you did your wood grain.
You know, I think it's fun in these. The light's always coming from one direction, and you get the wood grain in there. But see, what I did there is I actually wandered a little bit. Oh, that looks kind of cool. It's actually picking up the light from way over here.
Oh.
And but this is a brush that might go into a frame today.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, these are good brushes. This is the one for today. We're out of this project. We've got 10 press proofs. Gonna bring it in close, if you can see it. Anyway, that little brush. This is the very first time we've ever done it. Is I'm taking my really good brushes and putting them in the frames for the press proof.
10 only.
10 only. Thank you very much. Yeah. 10 of my best brushes are going away from me. And that's, actually, the funny story was I went to Curry's in London, is where I do that, where I buy my brushes now. And it was the very first time I've been in that shop, And the day I was there, their computer was down because of COVID. They said, I don't know why a computer's down because of COVID.
Maybe it had a virus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ah, there, oh, yes. So, anyway. So I go walking through the store and I shop for my supplies maybe, I'm gonna say once a year at the best. I mean, sometimes it's once every 2 years, and this has probably been 2 years since I went and bought brushes and stuff like that. So I went in and man, I'm walking around with brushes. I'm taking them up to the counter and there's tons of stuff. So I got maybe, I'd say 60 or 70 items that I'm buying. And the guy says, well, he says, we're gonna be about an hour and a half with this. It's like, you know, how, they all have little codes, right? So how the heck could you be an hour and a half? And he says, they had to hand write them all and add them up by adding machines. And it was like they had 3 guys in the shop. Well, what I did is I went around and grabbed them all, but all of their codes were on the shelves. So they didn't know the prices of any of them. They had to take all 60-some items, take them to the shelves, find the thing, find the price, come back, put it on the list. And I was there for an hour and a half, anyhow. Stupid story. That was a dumb story. Well, if anybody knows me in Colleen, I shop. I'm rarely in a store because I don't like it. And that day I had to count to 10 many times over.
Wasn't their fault.
No, I'm mad at the computer. So there's a nice highlight right there. Hopefully you can see that, Kels?
Oh, yeah.
You can see that, okay, yeah.
There's Bob's Art, Dave Shuttleworth.
Oh,
Hi, guys.
Cindy Dessler.
oh, how's everybody doing?
You want them all to answer at once?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of cool here. There's going to be an automatic shadow happening here, which is, and if anybody wonders where my vanishing point is in this one, I usually have a single vanishing point in my paintings. You can have 2, you can have 3, and when you see a house or the Edmund Fitzgerald, it would be done in a 2-point perspective. This is a 1-point perspective. There is only one spot where all of the lines of the painting are going to, and to get your eyes to focus where I want you to go on my subject, I'm actually pointing all the lines in the painting right dead center to Will's head, right where he would be looking. Though I could put it anywhere in here, but that would actually direct your focus to him, to the center of that hallway. Magic. It's the magic of the Wizard of Art, or whoever thought about it originally. Let's just get some nice lighter colors in here. And I'm actually going to let my hand wobble. Not only intentionally, I'm actually forcing it to not work well. Because this wood should be pretty rough, especially on the door below the horse's head.
So do we have prices for all of these, how this is working?
Kelsey informed me not to do that today, or did we?
Well, no, you
Oh,
can.
no, you're sending out something, but you're not want, she doesn't want to tell me that she's sending out an email.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but we don't know when. So I won't tell them that, okay, Kelsey?
Okay.
Yeah, we have prices, do we not?
Yeah, I just wanted to get away from the camera so my voice doesn't overpower.
Okay,
Yeah, feel free to share the prices.
I don't know.
It's not a problem for me, it's just we don't really have them set in stone yet.
Oh yeah, I think they are.
Yeah?
If Colleen says they are, they are. Yeah, I know what they are.
Yeah.
I'm actually just kind of joking with you guys. It's, So you want me to go through the packages or?
Yeah, because because of RONSTOCK this year, obviously we can't have our RONSTOCK and have all kinds of people coming here, so we can't just obviously hand out free prints to everybody just at any time because of COVID, so. Unfortunately, but you'll still get the print for free as long as you frame it, and that way you can do a curbside pickup for the frame. And we will have 3 choices, which Kelsey's gonna send out those 3 choices of those frames. We'll have great prices for you.
Is,
Go ahead, Ron.
there is 3.
Yeah, there's 3 choices,
Sorry,
yes.
but I just couldn't remember.
And then we have some really special things for the artist proofs and the printer's proofs. Would you like to go ahead and say that, Ron?
Sure. What?
Talk about the.
Yeah, so what I did is we took the Kenilworth logo right from the race park that was here in Windsor. We've actually reconstructed it because there was nothing that you could find that was actually very good. So just the same as we've done on the Canadian Club Whiskey Corner stamp, the Higham Walker stamp. We've done the same thing with the Walkerville Brewery. But what we've done is we found the Kenilworth logo, and that's actually from the race park. And we're going to do the pine frame, which is our custom pine frame that only we offer. And you can get that on all 3 of the prints: the press proof, the artist proofs, and on the signed and number prints. And when you frame them, any frame this year gets a copy. We've actually had an actual ticket from Kenilworth from the actual race, the race of the century, Man of War. Sir Barton, is my ticket still here? Or is it gone? Yeah. So and yeah, underneath that cloth probably. I should have had that all set up properly. Ah, I lost my ticket. Nope. Okay. So anyway, in any of the frames that go out, we're going to actually have the ticket, and this is an actual piece from there. And then we have for the sign and numbers. I don't know, I'm wandering all over the place.
I
We
don't
going
have your
somewhere?
ticket.
We're actually going to have the 2 different frames here, which are, this would be frame number 1. Number 1.
Yeah.
They always got to check on me. This is the rustic walnut frame. Rustic walnut. And that comes with the ticket. And then we have this one. It's really cool. This is a really nice one. This is frame number 2?
It is.
Okay. And that is the saddle brown frame. Saddle brown. So, and that comes with the ticket. And then Colleen's going to move in with us. Can you?
Yeah, okay. I
Like
just
that?
want to show you this because, can you see it okay, Kelsey?
You can move over a little.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because this is what we did for the Hiram Walkers, and we did it for Joe sent me, and it really came out nicely. But this, we're having one of these frames made, not more than one, frame made up, and we're getting the Kenilworth sticker, I call it a sticker, stamp, that goes on the frame right here. And then your ticket will be right in here, and it's a reproduction of the ticket from 1921, correct? And I just think
And I'm having a coffee break.
these colors, can they see this, Kelsey?
Yes.
I just think, I mean, obviously these colors are gonna go fabulously with this piece.
Looks good.
Groovy, baby, yeah. All right.
Can I put this here, Ron?
Sure. All right. So I'm not doing much painting today. So anyway, and that, yeah. So, and don't forget, those frames, you cannot get them anywhere else. They've been extremely popular ever since we started
Yeah.
with our own custom-made frames. There's nothing fancy about them. They're actually meant to be. They're meant to be in the theme of what we do. So in the whiskey ones that we did, and the rum runner ones, we're actually like, you're kind of pretending they're from whiskey cases or something like that, because they would have had wooden ones back then. This one represents the color that I'm doing in here, all the pine boards that would build the stable and the stalls around. I know I'm in the way for a second here, I just gotta square one of my lines off, I don't like them to be too wobbly. So anyway, I did start to talk about something here earlier, everything that happens in this kind of a light, it's refracted, it's, you know, reflected off the room, so it really becomes a real warm ambient light. But shadows never become, in this situation, shadows never become really hard. The only time they'd be really quite hard is when you see them really, an object really up close. In here, that light is going to cast a real warm, gentle shadow of Man of War here. So the way I'm going to start to portray that right now is knowing that I was going with the perspective earlier. The perspective is the light is going to be shining down through here. So if you imagine the light hitting the neck of the horse, I could look here and say, okay, the shadow is actually going to happen about here. It's going to end there. So I'm just going to do this right now. And this will actually show where the shadow of the horse is hitting the wall. Right. Boy, you guys stop me if I don't make sense, because you know, I've been around the paint fumes here. Yeah, so anyway, and the detail is going to be very, almost nothing up in here, because it's in shadow. And once I get done this, we'll see if it works or not. So, we're talking earlier, like, I can't, when I'm doing these things, I'm not standing back the way I always do, so when I say, I'll see if it works, a lot of times I do walk back to make sure I am doing it, so it's working. I'm not Bob Ross, I don't know everything there is to know about art. Just enough to get by. That was a joke. Right, get another brush here. Let's find another brush. Did I actually finish off with that brush? I was showing that brush? Yeah, so that's gonna be in, man, I'm all over the place today, eh?
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, press proofs number 2, that's where we went with this. The press proofs are actually larger too. These are, the prints are 14 inches by 14. They equal about, I think, 20 inches once they're done. So it's a nice size piece. The next size up is 16 by 16. So they would work out to somewhere in the area of 24 inches by 24 inches. And those press proofs are going to have the brushes. Each brush is going to be in order of the way I've used them. So this is for press proof number 2. So if anybody wants press proof number 2. And then I actually, I'll do a little, I'll sign these. I just do a little tiny bit of whitewash on here to make sure you can see the autograph. It'll be a hot weekend there this weekend. We don't even have our boat in the water. Duh. That would be nice. But I don't think the marina's even open yet. A lot of people have their boats in the water, but nobody can get into it now. They can't use their boats. Things. I don't laugh. Ish.
So you've done a few pieces with Man of War?
2.
2 of them.
Yeah. What? Oh.
What does that mean to you, Man of War? What do you think of when you...
Well, I don't know. Man of War to me is one. Look, every year I like to do something nostalgic of the county, and I think Man of War is one of the most important things, and actually one of the most unknown pieces of history in the area. Although it was such a famous race, a lot of people don't know that it happened here. And maybe we're not so much a horse county like a lot of counties. Like if you go down into Kentucky and stuff like that, they would all know about that. But I think it's something we should be telling people about.
You know, it's interesting though, in 1921, when this was around the time, this area was horse people. And Windsor had 3 racetracks at the time.
Yeah.
They had Kenilworth, which was the one across the tracks. Devonshire Mall was a racetrack,
And Jackson.
and Jackson Park area was a racetrack. They had 3 racetracks, so racing was major in that time period.
Yeah, and the only reason why we have this most famous race of all times, ish, I think it is anyhow, is because we had booze. Windsor, this is a time during Prohibition when, you know, the tracks, all of the tracks in the area, the owners of these horses were the ones that would have chosen where they wanted to race, I would think. Or there might have been a racing association.
Yeah, it
or
was a
whatever.
racing association.
Yeah, and they would have chosen it just because they knew that people wanted to drink when they were at the racetrack. Yeah.
1921, there was a lot of horse people. In fact, Olette stopped at Jackson Park at Wyandotte at that time.
Wyandotte? No, it's Tecumseh.
Tecumseh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Tecumseh Road. That's where it stopped, was right at Jackson Park.
Yep.
Olette Avenue, yeah.
So, going back to the painting, dead center, right between the eyes, right here. This is how I get these lines to make sense. If you don't know how perspective works, everything points to the horizon. Everything points, like every straight line will point to the horizon in one way or another, unless it's going up and down. But every horizontal line points to the horizon, and just by that one piece of math, everything in here will actually go together properly. And that's something Da Vinci, I learned from Da Vinci, his techniques. Throwing everything all over.
And cut.
Jeez. And take, yeah. And we're done.
And we're done. Not really.
Are we done yet?
No.
Actually, when we were doing 2 hours, it was too long. Now 1 hour just seems like we get through it a little too fast sometimes. I ramble enough that I don't get enough painting done, but oh well, still be it. Whatever.
So you use Da Vinci to get your
So Da Vinci,
technical.
yeah, Da Vinci is my technical mentor in my art. And there are new people here, so in my art, I'm not boasting, I'm the only artist I know that created my own recipe behind my art. A lot of people go out and they find, they like to do this so much, they'll never do anything else. Some people love the affirmation, and because of that, they repeat themselves over and over and over and over and over again to the day they die. I found that I wanted to have a recipe for my art that was totally unique, that when you walked up, if I painted a horse, you would recognize my technique. If I painted an abstract, you would recognize my technique, and that's a real hard thing to do. That's what I call a signature of my work. And I did it by taking a recipe of 3 artists, who are Da Vinci being my mentor. Whenever I need something that's technical, I go to Da Vinci, and he's actually probably my main mentor. And then Norman Rockwell I brought in for the love and the fun and the enjoyment of life that Norman Rockwell always put into his paintings. So you will see the Norman Rockwell pop in my paintings. And then for the bizarre mystery and everything else that I love in my synergy is my favorite art to do. And that's where Salvador Dali comes in. So, I dropped my paper again, sorry. Salvador Dali is not a person I liked as a person. He was really bizarre. He had some really bad ways about him, but his art always intrigued me and really brought me into the zone, into my zone when I was painting. So I always always gonna have Salvador Dali there, although here I will boast, there are times when I think I'm a little bit better at what I do than he was. Yeah. Boy, does that sound conceited. Oh, that's true.
It's okay.
I do believe that I'm better at a couple of things that he did.
Jacqueline Christie says she loves seeing the progress. And I think I remember seeing her name last time too.
Yeah.
So she's right there with us.
Jacqueline?
Yep.
I wonder if she's hinting that I'm not doing enough. Are you hinting that I'm not doing enough? Okay, let's get to some progress here, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing the other side, there's a doors of the stable, because I was raised, we had a little stable at home. Your hinges would be on the side of the door, and then, probably on this one, we could do the hinges on here so I could show them. But anyway, there's always an end truss in your door, and what is that for? It's to keep the door straight and never letting it shift from its own weight, because the door's hanging on its own weight all the time. That's the engineer in me.
Did you spend time around horses growing up?
Oh yeah, we had horses. We actually, when the race course was going, we actually would, we did, and our neighbors, my buddies up the road from us, took care of horses, and one time we actually had the Marshall horse. They used the Marshall horse for a while at the Windsor Raceway. He was a monster. He was the most beautiful horse, but really hyperactive. And I never forget him, because Champ was his name, and he had a saddle sore. So when we had horses come in, at times we were doing it because we were actually kind of like a little clinic. You couldn't afford to put them in to have the veterinary take care of them, so we actually took care of them.
Okay, yeah.
And we had our own horses, but we also took care of other horses.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and we actually lost one of our patients one time, but that's another story altogether. But yeah, and Champ, man, Champ was a horse. I never got on him. I wouldn't get on him. He was just this. He almost looked like a chess horse, the knight, that huge, massive neck on him. The problem with Champ is he threw his head back all the time, and if you weren't aware of it, he'd knock you right off like he'd just flip his head back and you were gone. Then we had a biter one time too. Don Swan, and we used to go riding all the time, and Don liked to ride this Welsh pony, and one of the horses liked to bite, and I think because it always thought the horse in front of it was in heat. Horses bite at that point. So whoever was riding in front of this horse is gonna get bit, and he got bit several times right on the back. Right along, also the horse is biting you. Oh well.
Fun.
Hope Don's not listening.
They're such cute creatures.
Oh, they're beautiful animals. They're
Never even
wonderful.
been on a horse.
Huh?
I've never even been on a horse.
Oh, you got it.
I'd love to.
Yeah, you gotta try it. It's something. It really is something.
And each one has its own personality, just like
Absolutely.
a dog or a cat or, yep. So every horse has its own personality.
Horses, for somebody, they feel more James Bond to me. They feel more like they've got a personality, but they're not gonna show it all the
Yeah.
time. They're not gonna let you in on their secrets very easy.
A little more strategic than the average
Yeah,
bear.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people think horses are not bright at all, and believe me, they're a smart animal.
They gotta be. They have to have a big brain.
I don't know. Probably the size of an artist. That doesn't mean much.
Kenilworth to me was kind of like an underdog too, wasn't he? You know, because they didn't think he was gonna win at all.
I think you might be referring to Seabiscuit.
No, I meant Kenilworth.
Oh, are you? Okay. Because I know Seabiscuit was like that. Seabiscuit was a runt.
But they didn't think that, like, they knew that he would do well, but to beat the other horse by how
Oh,
many
no, I
lengths?
don't, well, nobody knew that.
Yeah.
He came out and he was this unbelievable powerhouse. And that's one, I studied this face on this horse too, is, Man of War is not people are gonna hate me for this. Man o' War was not a beautiful horse. He was a huge, impressive, not the prettiest face in the world, okay? No, because a lot of horses, their snout is slim and it's really defined in that. Man o' War he had quite the curve on his brow, and he really didn't have that. Actually, he had a look that looked huge. That's what it was, I think. If there's a way of just having a look that looked huge, but he was a huge horse, and he wasn't the prettiest thing here. But I'm gonna make him. I'll dress him up pretty good here. Not to say he was ugly, but there's, like you see, little Morgan horses or some of the Frisians and stuff like that. They're absolutely stunningly beautiful. Man o' War was not the most beautiful horse, but he certainly was an amazing one. I don't usually work this long on stuff like this. It usually goes faster.
But it was supposed to be a match race, was it not?
It was, yeah, because Sir Barton was the horse. Sir Barton was the horse to beat. It took forever to get that to line up this race because, you know, these people never wanted their horses to lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they must have known that. Well, they did know that Man o' War was going to give them a challenge. But Man o' War, they said, was never. Man o' War had never had a real challenger. There I go talking, I did something wrong, sorry guys. Man o' War never had a real challenger, and horses, when they're running in a race, it's believed that they're in their herd running from danger. So every horse, the reason a racehorse does so well is because it's running from danger, it's running for its life. And the strongest horse is going to be out front. That's the whole thing with horse races. Because that horse is leading the pack away from danger. And Man o' War would only be faster if a horse challenged him. And it's true that it never had a horse, it got blocked in by upset. He lost one race and it was because he got boxed in. But they know that no horse could ever run as fast as Man o' War. So they never knew his top speed. They just didn't know. So, you know, if you had a horse that did, say he does 40 miles an hour, and all of a sudden there's a horse that comes up beside him that does 42 miles an hour, he probably would have done 45 miles an hour. And he was one of the rare horses, there are only a couple that would run the whole race, and every quarter of the race, he would be going faster and faster, and his fastest quarter of the race was his last quarter. When you think about that, running a race and actually getting faster instead of slower, that's just my God. Me, I go a block and I die, you know what I mean?
I gotta share
Yeah.
Jana Blair's comment. It
Oh,
says-
here we go.
She always says the best.
I know.
So what you're saying is that I am like Man o' War, not the most beautiful, but am impressive.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of her when I was saying that as well. Yeah, she's funny.
She's certainly impressive.
Hi to Alan Val.
Oh, yeah, good. They're on the East Coast, I think. No, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. They're in Windsor. Okay, so, talking away, hey, look at, did you see me do this? I rubbed that out a while ago, right? I just did it exactly the way I did it before. So I'm gonna just take my time on it this time.
Just goes to show there's a lot more to it than just.
Well, I always I used to pride myself on not making mistakes, but when I'm on camera, I do make mistakes, and because normally I don't say a peep while I'm working here, right? And all I do is concentrate on angles. So I think we got it right this time. Yes, that's better. So that's the cross board, the end truss that's in that And again, I'm working backwards, so. Normally I'm working on the other side of the stick. So it might take me a second to do this right. I should do the old Bob Ross, but my brush isn't big enough. No,
Beat the devil out of it. Come on.
beat the devil out of it. I just have to pick up a big brush and do it later, just for fun. Okay, so that's better. Oh, look at that, the light just hit it. Did you see that?
It's so cool how you would think that everything is like perfect in paintings, but it's actually your mind's eye making
There you
it
go.
look that way. I
Well,
actually
we got-
learned that from Ron.
We got her working on it. Well, it was funny because Kelsey and I work a lot on, when we're working on these ads and that, she allows me to get involved.
Absolutely.
And it's fun because it's all just the same palette. Even videos to me is all the same. We're working with a palette and, you know, it's just a canvas for me, you know. I look at a video, work on a video, just using a different type of canvas and a different type of brush. That's gonna be too light there, isn't it? Just a little bit too light, easy to change.
It's too quiet.
Yeah.
It's nice though. Feels so peaceful.
So, what else? Oh, we're gonna have to have a lock on this too, eh?
That'd be nice.
I'm gonna just take my picture, because I got a picture of a stable here.
I would have never thought of that.
What's that?
They would lock them?
Well, they're just a clip, you know, I mean, it's a clip so the horse,
Oh, I
it
thought you
clips
meant
so the horse
actually like
doesn't-
a padlock.
So the horse doesn't
Oh.
open the doorknob.
well, they're not raccoons. We used to have a raccoon, and it didn't matter what you did with that raccoon, it would figure it out.
They're
You'd lock the
changing.
front door and somehow it would get in the door.
That's
The
awesome.
one time it was, I caught him climbing up the screen door, pushed the button and pushed the door open with his back foot, seriously.
That's crazy.
Jump in the crack, and that's how we got in the
Oh,
door.
man.
You'd be standing there, all of a sudden the door, you'd hear the door click and slam, and it was, by then the raccoon was in the house.
And have you ever
Oh,
tried
wow.
to get a raccoon that's
Oh,
a
no.
friendly one
Yeah.
out of your house
Not gonna happen.
that does not want to go?
At that point, you just start paying rent
Oh my god.
and let it live with you.
They are the
And fast.
smartest animals in the
Like they
world.
would pick up everything. He'd pick up everything along the way, and I'd go like, "Get put that down." And, you know, like
Just like a little toddler.
oh, it worse. Actually,
They were
really,
worse.
actually worse. Yeah.
So they get the raccoon will get something in its mind, and they are super
Oh.
super smart.
Oh yeah, they are.
And one time it got a hold of Colleen's necklace. It's in the house. I don't know. She set it down on the table, grabbed the
What?
necklace, took off with it, right?
Try and get it back.
Yeah, try to get it back.
Good.
Then he goes and hides it, and then yeah, if you try to get it back from him,
No.
then you know you got a wild animal.
And then he went to the pawn shop.
Yeah, that's about it too. Yeah.
Cast it in for some bugs.
Yeah.
So we got a little hinge happening here.
And they don't sit still.
So
Yeah.
So raccoons have these little tiny, teeny weeny, they're perfect little hands. Perfect little hands, and they're soft and they're cute, right? But they stick them in your ear. They stick them up your nose.
They're looking for
They're
bugs.
always looking for bugs. They stick them in your hair. They'll go through your hair just like a monkey.
okay, before we drop this, I have to ask: did you have pet raccoons?
Yeah.
It was a pet.
Oh.
Well,
Well, yeah.
a non-intentional pet.
That's
Yeah,
so
he was a
cool.
pet. He lost its mother, so
She
we.
did actually.
She,
We
yeah.
thought it was a he all the
Okay.
time.
So we kind of took it in,
Oh, that's so sweet.
but it was cute. But we also didn't wanna make sure it was just a pat too, so we actually would let it go outside so that it would get used to being outside, and it was pretty good.
After a while, you couldn't.
Then it did, it started fending on its own.
Yeah, and I think they get a certain way after a certain number of years. They get
They,
like,
about 2 years, well, once she was ready to have babies, you couldn't touch her, you couldn't go near her anymore.
We
The-
parted ways.
I just dropped my paper again. Somebody's saying, get off the raccoon story.
yeah.
Okay, we're off the raccoon story.
Now you have to paint a little raccoon somewhere.
Yeah. The funny thing is though, they go on the roof, well, she did, we didn't know, she was going on the roof every night. And on the one side where the sun hit all the time, the shingles were a bit brittle, we were renting the house. And she'd put her hands underneath looking for bugs and break the shingle off. Well, and they had, through the summer, she broke almost every shingle on the roof, we didn't know about it, 'cause in the,
Oh my.
and one day it stormed, and we woke up in the bedroom having the ceiling, the ceiling was hanging almost 3 feet down.
Oh,
It was full of water. I woke up in the morning and said,
Little
Colleen,
devil.
slide, get out of bed, slide out of bed, don't move, don't touch the ceiling. Cause you knew there was about a ton of water sitting up in there.
Oh, that's hilarious. Such a hassle.
Oh yeah, she
Oh,
was.
they are. It was funny though.
If there's anything silly you can get into, she found a way to do it. Then she left for over a year and came back one day with her babies
With her babies.
and let Colleen see them
Show
and
me your
then
babies.
walked off and then we never saw her
So
again.
cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she
know.
just
I
brought her home to
came
show.
up with a dinner roll and gave it to her, and she took the dinner roll and left with her babies.
That's so amazing.
Never saw her again.
That sounds like a movie. This whole story sounds
Yeah,
like it could be
you're
a
right.
movie.
Oh, you know what? It is a movie. I'm sorry, I forgot.
No,
Oh, no, that's where I knew that story
Oh,
from.
great. Super cool.
Yeah, Disney would have loved it.
Say hi to Scott Doyle.
I don't do it.
Scott Doyle.
Fabulous.
Doyle. How you doing? How you doing, Doyle?
There's someone named Burneth5 on Instagram said hello, but I'm not really
Who?
sure because I can only see their username on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
But
Who is it?
hello. Burneth5.
Oh, Burnett. Burnett.
Oh, Bernat.
Burnett.
Oh.
Hey, how you guys? We're our relatives.
Oh, okay.
Niece, nephews. Yeah. Burnett. That's because there's 5 in their family.
Oh, is that, okay.
Aw,
Yeah.
nice.
I never thought of that. How do you recognize names, eh?
Burnett. Sure.
Put 2 and 2 together on that one.
How are you guys doing with the COVID? And they are in the States.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Cool.
Can't remember. Someplace like.
She's a frontline worker.
Yeah, she is.
Nice.
Yeah. Can't remember. Someplace like Indiana or I can't remember.
Pennsylvania?
Is it? No, I don't think Pennsylvania.
Delaware.
Delaware. That's right. You're right. Delaware.
Okay.
Yes.
I love Delaware. I used to, whenever I went to New York, because I used to travel to New York about 5 times a year, I literally stayed in Delaware. I don't know why now. I guess because it was so much cheaper. Because I stayed right at the edge of New York and,
That is why. I remember we used
Delaware.
to stay there. It was beautiful.
yeah, at
Beautiful.
the Delaware Water Gap.
Yeah.
We almost put a gallery there at
That was
a place that's
just
called
beautiful.
the Castle, which was an old, a very famous musician's hotel. Okay, so what am I doing now? What am I doing? What am I doing? Put some wood grain. I'm gonna put some wood grain. Oops, don't want that there to eat else. Kelsey will give me heck when I do things wrong. I don't like getting hecked from Kelsey.
So are you gonna put more details in the horse?
I feel like I need to defend myself, but I'll just let it go.
No, actually try it, because I'd like to know why you would ask me such a dumb question.
Okay. I wasn't asking if you were going to do more details. I was asking you how detailed.
Oh,
But you're already having so much fun making fun of me, so I just left it.
Okay. It will have,
He does like picking on you, Kelsey.
Yeah.
That's okay. What comes around goes around.
oh yeah. I will make it as perfect a horse as it can be. Matter of fact, there'll be a better portrait here of Man of War than you can find on the internet. How about that?
Sounds good.
That's my
So-
challenge.
I have a question, his mane,
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of Man of War with his mane where, you know, how they make them fancy or make,
Yeah.
how are you making it?
Well, he had a comb over like Donald Trump, so that's what I was actually thinking of.
Okay.
The Man of War didn't have a very nice looking mane. I'm sorry. I mean, this horse sounds ugly. He's not an ugly horse, okay?
What do you ever do to you?
But I've seen it
Yeah.
with it, where it had it kind of braided or.
I don't know if I did. Don't think I've seen that.
Yeah.
Actually, Man of War had a fluffy little mane. It was kind of a little bit. It wasn't a smooth, shiny thing, and he wore it this way all the time, almost like a little.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how they brushed it aside all the time. Like a comb over. He had a little comb over. He was bald. Bald horse. You know, nothing worse than a bald horse.
You're right, I just looked at some of them, right,
He's always wearing it this
or
way.
just, or right off,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So it was like this. No.
Yeah, you're right, the Donald Trump comb over, you're right about that.
Well, I was kidding about that, but it is a bit of a comb over for sure.
Like a toupee?
They never did this right down the center, it was always,
It certainly was a beautiful color though, the horse.
yeah, he was red. Chestnut red. Unfortunate thing in here is I will be doing it darker. If I do the light wrong, if I do the light in here where I show the real chestnut color easily, then it's gonna make the horse look too light in color. What are you talking about, guys?
We're looking at pictures, but.
You wanna share that with the
Most
people
of
or
them
what?
obviously are black and white, cause they were
No, he was actually quite a bright
1921,
red.
but there he is there. That's a colored picture.
Skinny?
Yeah, you can
There was
see-
a shot in there where, he was pretty skinny. He could have been pretty old at the time too.
There's
Oh,
some where
okay.
he looks super muscular, and then others he looks
This was his young days.
Okay, he was only 2, right, when he went
He was-
race?
2.5.
Two and a
They
half.
retired him at 2.5.
Okay.
So he did all of his racing probably in about, I would say, within a year or so.
It's a colorized picture.
Oh, okay, that's cool. We have like 8 minutes left.
No.
Yeah.
Man, I was talking too much today. Okay, I'm gonna do,
Normal racehorses, like, when is their peak?
well, I don't know if that's,
Is that, do
That's
they
easy
have
to
a
answer.
peak? I don't even know.
the only thing I found with Man of War is that Man of War was so powerful, they retired him so he wouldn't hurt himself.
Oh, okay.
They just knew, and that, in my original painting, if you look, we had, one of the, judges from the equestrian, the winter fair in Toronto, which is probably one of our biggest equine shows, or horse shows. One of the judges called one day and she said, she'd never seen Man of War portrayed so well, because when I put him racing, his front knee was stressed backwards. You could actually see it bent backwards where it could look wrong, but Man of War had that power where he'd actually bend his legs. And they were afraid a 2-year-old, if he really got challenged, he might actually snap his legs when he was running.
Oh,
He had that kind of power, that he could actually more likely break his own legs in his run. So, here we're gonna put this shadow here, it'll help a lot right here. Because I was talking a little bit too much this time around, I think.
Are you hoping to get more done, or?
Well, I was hoping to get more done.
Really come a long ways now, like,
Yeah,
how
it
realistic.
doesn't take long, does it? Oh, this is really cool. I'm gonna take this shadow here, I'm gonna make one a little wider than the other. And it makes it look like the board's set back in a little bit.
Cool.
So these ones are all in place, but this one's not. There's that little magic.
They actually buried him too, eh?
They buried Man o' War in a full-size coffin.
Yeah, I was looking at
And
this.
most horses don't get buried
Amazing.
like that.
And then I hear they moved it to Kentucky,
Yeah,
to the Kentucky Race Park, where they've got a monument and stuff, and they wanted to move, they asked if they would move the man that was his keeper,
Will.
yes, and his wife did not want him moved. Cause they were gonna move him also with Man o' War.
That's just a publicity stunt, I would think, at
Yeah.
that point. It's
Yeah,
not,
I would think
not
so
very
too,
fair for the family.
yeah. And she said, no, did not want to disturb his remains.
Wouldn't it be neat to have a Man o' War shoe today? One of his shoes?
Actually, I saw some of them, they went
No.
for, no, I mean, I've seen them,
Oh.
they've gone for auction,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was like, something like $14,000.
And is it the right shoe or the left? Imagine if he had
You're
four
pretty
left
good.
shoes, then he would just run around in circles? Oh, never mind.
I'm looking at you like, is this a joke? Cause you know I'm gonna fall for it.
Poor Kelsey.
Poor naive.
Yeah, Kelsey's a great one for stuffing like that. Hey, Kelsey, did you know blah, 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 blah?
No way.
Really? No. Not
Oh, I
really.
take that back, 1920, Man o' War horseshoe, worn in the Peakness Stakes victory, the horse was purchased, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it sold in 1918, equivalent of $78,000
Oh, gee.
in today's market.
For some expensive shoes.
Sure are.
I'm gonna auction some of my shoes off. $5 each.
You have no clothes left. You're giving away your smock, your shoes.
I just went a little too far on that. This is what happens when you're always talking and not working. Fixing mistakes, very easy. There we go. There we go. So, what I'm gonna do, I don't know how many minutes we got left here.
Go for it.
4. So, what do I have to talk about? I gotta talk about RONSTOCK is coming up. This is our free print for RONSTOCK. There's gonna be 10 press proofs, there's going to be 65 artist proofs, and 650 signed and number prints. The prints are $125 a piece, so if you buy a frame, any frame we have, then you get the print for free for RONSTOCK. And coming up on June, I guess everything's moving back, and we definitely can't have RONSTOCK this year, there's no doubt about it, so. But we have some packages coming up with this. We're gonna be showing you, I am gonna do some work on the horse, so the next time you see it, you know, it's becoming too tedious to see this block of no detail, and for Kelsey, I'm gonna do a lot of detail, just because she asked me to.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah. And no, we're gonna have the RONSTOCK, which is gonna go from Monday the 14th through Saturday the 18th. Every day, real quickly, we have a wonderful framed piece of art, celebrity art. We're gonna be having a Sting piece, a Blues Brothers piece, a House of the Rising Sun, a Jane Goodall, a Metamorphosis, and then on Saturday of RONSTOCK, we're actually gonna give away an $1,800 Jan Zurikowski signed aero print, which is second mark, but it's framed, and I think it was somewhere around $2,100 or
Yes.
$2,300 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a $2,000 piece of art, and that week we're going to be doing that just by showing up. You don't have to do anything fancy to get into the contest. Just show up for the day. Just have your name on here. Kelsey's going to grab every name that shows up. It goes into a special numbers generator or whatever, and it draws a name for us. So anyway, we're gonna be back, this is Friday, so we're not gonna be back until, yeah, we're back at Tuesday, on 12 o'clock on Tuesday. I am gonna try and take some time to get a bit more done and really start to show you some detail. And so I think you're gonna be really surprised the next time you see it. This horse is gonna start to come off the canvas at you. Okay? Anyway, Ron Suchiu, until next Tuesday at 12 noon, see you back here at my studio.